So threw on 2 layers when you told me to buy.
Okay. Should have told me that because I could have told you to get out because it went up like 5 pips or 10 pips. So your action points, the top one, that's fine. So right here, yeah, we need to make your, just can I drive just for a second? Yeah. Just so I can make it so I can see what's going on. Are you okay if I do this?
Yeah.
All right. I don't care about your profit info. You want to see the 5-minute right here. Okay. And what are we? Okay. I think we're all good. All right. You now have control.
Okay.
All right. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. Obviously, off this big move, I am going to play the retracement off of it. Seeing if we're going to get at least a 50% retracement. If it's a 50% retracement, if we get that during the session, that's going to be awesome, right?
Yeah.
For a trading session. So the 2 things that we're going to be looking at right now is the bottom, if it drops. If you also look like the hour, it came all the way down on the hour chart, hit that support line on the hour, and then bounced right off of it. So this is a good place for it to bounce and for us to see if we don't get that retracement. However, if it does kind of come down and play it at the bottom, we want to be light. So we're not going to hold on to our buys as if it's going to give us that retracement. But I do think, that's the way we're going to play. We're going to play that retracement. If it comes down here and tests the bottom, we're going to try to get in and play for, if it wants to break lower, then we'll play that too. But right now it's kind of really far away from that bottom. It is at least, large price cycles happening. We're looking at like 15 pips away. These price cycles are pretty big right now. So with the bigger price cycles, what does that mean, Andrew? Just how do we trade through bigger price cycles?
Trade light through bigger price cycles.
Okay, so trading light means what? Just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Trading light means 1 to 2 layers.
Still think you should trade the same layers. You just cut your layer amount in half. So if you're trading with 4 trades per layer, then we're going to do 2 trades per layer, but we're going to look for 10 pips on that layer as opposed to 4 to 6 pips. That makes sense?
Yep.
So when I say put a couple trades on, I'm just going to do 2 trades, or put a layer on, we'll just do 2 trades per layer, right? Yep. All right. So we should see a bounce. You're in light, which is good. If we don't get the bounce off of here, if the body crosses with this, then let's jump into some sells for a ride down 7 pips. So we'll see what this action does here. So where's your action points, Andrew?
So we're looking at down here as an action point.
Mm-hmm.
And then down here, if it keeps going down.
Well, on the upside.
And then on the upside, we're looking probably right here.
Kind of, but you have a couple on the way. So right here is going to be one right there. And then here's another one. And then here's another one.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't look like it's very much, but if you measure that from the bottom to the top of that, it's about 10 pips away. So 10 pips, so 7, 8, 9 pips. That's still great, right? That's what we're looking for. Even though this doesn't look very much right here, it's still, 8 to 10 pips. And so if the buy's right here and we get this, we'll be able to make a decent amount of profit if it pops up and it's that action point. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if this candle holds right here, it's going to touch that action point. So you could sit on it and wait, but if it stalls, I get out of your profits and then recycle these. And we'll just wait. Yeah, just wait 1 second and see, because it's testing still. It's putting pressure on the top of that.
Yep.
So if it pops, we'll hold. All right, go ahead and get out of that.
All of it?
Nope. This should be your profits.
Yep.
And then as it comes back down, we'll get back into those buys because it's failed to break above that. And so we're just going to recycle those profits. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
He asked the questions, why not immediately sell? Because I didn't, still kind of putting pressure on the top. We can, but I want confirmation of right there. So let's do that. Actually, it's a good call. And well, if now, yeah, go ahead. And it's going to be a small little tiny sell. I don't think it's going to break the bottom of that, but go ahead and throw another sell on. And then your action point is down at the bottom for those. Just going to pick up.
Just right where we just were.
Now, if it comes down and tests, it's going to be the second test of that thing. So
okay.
Look to get out of those fairly quickly. In case it.
So right here.
Yeah, go ahead and pull off those guys. I just think we're early on that candle. Holy cow, this I hate. Can you remove those objects? No, remove the object, just so we can clean up the chart. You got to get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we got the second test right down here. And so we'll wait and see if it's going to break or not. But go ahead and throw a buy on. And then if it does pop down early in the candle, we'll throw another buy on. If it's late on the candle, hold. So now it's late on this candle. We'll hold. If it does pop down, don't buy. But if it closes without breaking and it goes a little higher, we'll see here. So we're looking at it could come down to here. So go ahead and put a buy on. There we go. And let's throw another buy on. There we go. All right. So what we're looking at with these layers that are not favorable for us, we're looking to see if we can't get it to break above this. And if it comes up to here and we have profit here, we can easily peel these guys off, right? Does that make sense, Andrew?
Yeah.
Kind of telling what I'm thinking so that you can execute that without me saying to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what we're looking for is for it to kind of pop up and then to make these losses minimum and then to kind of either break even or to profit on these lower buys.
Mm-hmm. Getting out right now of these layers right here would be considered taking what we call a max loss.
Max loss, yep.
Right. And so we're waiting for the price cycle to come back up. In order to do that, now we're kind of lay on that this candle looks like it's going to form right here. So see how much room we have from that to the bottom.
Dave.
Yeah.
So because it may, you mentioned about the retracement back to 50%, what have you found? And I know the time frame is different, but what have you found for it to eventually come back to that?
Immediately or a long time? If it doesn't no, seriously, if it doesn't happen immediately, it'll slowly go there.
Got it.
Like within hours, not days. Oh, what happened? Oh, you tried to take it?
I took it where...
Okay, so maybe I failed at my instructions. So you never want to take it. You never want to take it unless it stalls. Does that make sense? And the candle hasn't stalled yet. So this is definitely a growth candle. So let's go ahead and throw some sells on. Oh, missed the opportunity. I was going to sell the top of here for a profit here. Go ahead and throw a couple of sells on though. And then that's good. Just two.
Just two.
Yeah. So you never want to take, that's why we trade with zero take profits. Because just kind of like a base rule, Andrew, is that you always look at the action of the candle. Even though this is the action point says you look for the stall of the candle. Does that make sense? If the candle is still in growth form and it's still body, that's not a time to get out. So that's a good takeaway. That's a good lesson because you just saw, it broke above this, but you got out when the candle was still growing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. When I could have waited a little bit longer.
Right. And so you just wait for the stall that candle. It's the same thing here. Same principle here. You see how we're in sells?
Yeah.
And it's coming down. This is your action point. So it's stalling, but when it stalls, we want to get out. And it hasn't. Okay, go ahead and get out of those cells. So and then now we have a green candle forming. Do you see that? Cool. Kind of answer your question. Look at this candle.
Yeah, that top was 50, I think.
Right, exactly. So this is an abnormal candle, and so was this one over here on the news event. And so it'll either retrace immediately or it'll take a while to retrace. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I know it's kind of a funny answer, but that's the truth. It'll either retrace right away or it's going to take a little while, right? So now, because this candle did retrace 50%, we're going to see, okay, is it going to retrace 100%? And it has to cross this in order for us to get that. Yes, it's going to retrace 100%. Right?
Okay.
That's awesome. Everybody how did you guys play that? Patricio, Jimmy, did you guys capitalize on that pop-up candle?
I did.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you peel off where Andrew peeled off, or did you peel off up here? Just
up
curious.
there.
Yeah, up there as well.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood the concept. I know that I gotta trade with Andrew differently than I trade with you guys. Is just making sure that what I say, Andrew might not necessarily interpret because he's new. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I got to make sure I'm different. Andrew, you got to hold me to that too. Cause I like, if I start being like, you got to do this and be like, explain what that is, please.
Right. Please.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we're going to probably get that 100% retracement. So what I want you to do is look for a pullback off of any blue candle. So if this candle pops back up and test this, we're going to get into a sell. We get ready to sell.
Okay.
Unless it closes above that, the blue, the green, right? So, and also maybe unless actually we do have profit. And these candles are huge, but it doesn't look like it because of the way our view is. So go ahead and sell right there.
Okay.
And we can actually take profit at the bottom of that candle if we wanted to, because that's like 4 pips. That's like a 4 pip candle right there. So if it does break above this with the body in 6 seconds, we're going to go ahead and buy.
What are we going to do with that sell? Just leave it there? Or?
Yeah, we're going to look to take it off as it comes down to the bottom of to right here. This is our action point.
Gotcha.
Right there.
So take it off right there where it's stolen?
Yeah, go ahead. You got it. That's good. That's a good thing. Now we'll go ahead and put a buy.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes getting those stalls can be a skill set you gotta
hone in on. Yeah, practice, right?
It's a good rule of thumb. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, again, it's never a bad thing to take profit. It's never a bad thing. And so even if you get out on the stall and then it shoots in your favor, don't ever say, oh, I should have waited to get out, right? Because the opposite can definitely happen where it stalls and retraces, and then you can say, oh, I should have got out, right?
Well, that's what I saw with that big candle pop-up was that, okay, there's my green. Let's take that while we can.
Yeah.
I should have waited. No.
Yeah. The point there though, is it never stalled. Does that make sense? Right. So we're talking about on the stall. It's never a bad thing to take profit or get out on the stall. Okay. Right. And so don't ever play the mind games where you're like, oh, I should have stayed in or I should have, I'm more likely to jump out unless there's just not any profit on, like right now. Like if you're $2 or $1 away, then I don't worry about the stall, right? Unless
the stall can happen at any point in the timer, or
yeah. So if there's a stall, and that's a great question. So, or comment, if there's a stall that's on the north side of 30 seconds, then I'll hold on to it and wait a little bit, because that kind of is still kind of making this decision. But if it's a stall on the south side of 30 seconds, the decision is more likely to be made.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
I never knew the time had north and south. That's new for me.
The 1 minute candle is.
I mean, being a pilot is very confusing.
You're like, wait a second.
Okay, Patricio, just because I said that, does that make sense? North of 30 seconds. Yeah, you're right.
Of course, we'd explain that to a pilot.
Just go north.
Just go north of 12 o'clock.
Right. Which north? This north, that north, that other north.
You got to talk to him in horizon lines, right? Fly towards the horizon. Hey, just out of curiosity, Patricio. Okay, let me say this. Okay, we're gonna ride this up just like what you're doing.
Okay.
To the top of this. Again, this is the other thing that has to come into place on the stall. How many is it testing? So does it stall on a test? Okay. So if it comes up here and stalls, it's a stall with a test. Okay. Now, if it's the second or if it's the first test, I usually will get out. If it's the second, I'll wait. And if it's the third, it's probably going to break. And it's just stopping to say hello and then break.
And then go again.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so I always companion the stalls with a test. If it's a testing area, then I play my stalls a little different too.
So how about right now? We didn't go out in the stall.
Right. So you can certainly get out right here, and I would just go ahead and get out because it did stall. Like Patricia just called it. So good call. And then sell for it to come back down to here. And this is your action point. Again, if it stalls there, Let's go ahead and when I say, let's go ahead and just make a conscious effort to look for an opportunity to put into 2 trades, not just 1 trade. Like not same stack, but you know, if it sucks back up, just try to get 2 trades on every time we get in. It's
hard because like the thing pops up right over it, and I have to wait for it to go before I can put on another one.
Which thing? Sorry. Go ahead and put a sell on right now.
So where it says order opened. So then I have to wait for that to go before I can put on another one.
That's annoying. All right, let's do this for you. Minimize this real quick. We don't have close all. And then let's pop that down. And then let's see what happens when you trade this way, but you don't have a close all script. We need to add that to you. All right. So go ahead and put another sell on.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, just it went up. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, now we're going to hear the awesome 90s sound effects. All right, here's our action point right here. So, yeah, go ahead and close. Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. We'll wait.
Well, you missed your opportunity to close down here.
Yeah.
Right. And now I don't know if you're going to get it because I would have rather close down here and get into buys. Because I think it's going to pop up right here. All right. I think we missed our opportunity on the sells. So
we see what this candle does, right? I mean,
yeah, go ahead and close. Close out.
Close out?
Yep, close. And then buy. So go ahead and buy again. Don't like smack 2 buys on. It defeats the purpose of layering your trades when you smack them right on in the same place. So put one on, and as it retraces, we'll put another one on. Does that make sense, Andrew?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So it's coming down, it's testing. I had you get out of those cells because I got a little nervous that we were going to see this come back again. Right. So again, we got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. If it comes back, it's going to break this. So if it comes back up, it's going to break the top of that.
We got a little news going on here. A couple minutes.
Do we? What is it? And go ahead and buy again.
That's probably why it's getting active.
What's the news? What color?
It's light.
That's funny, Ed. It said that it says that she talked to Barb, and he said nice things about no matter what she says, huh? I don't care what she says. I think you're great, Dave. All right, go ahead and buy. All right, so we got 100% retracement of this candle right here. It failed to break up here, so that's why we got that 100% retracement. So this is our next action point on our buys.
So we want to buy all the way down to that?
Mm-hmm.
So throw on another?
Yep, and then if it crosses this, we're going to flip to sells. Can you minimize this though? I need to see the chart. There we go. And we're good. We're trading light still. So go ahead and put another buy on. Again, now we're going to use these buys. So go ahead. Yep, you got it. We're going to use these buys down here. If it pops up and stalls here, we can get out. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. If it stalls here, we can get out of everything with profit because we put these guys on.
So wait for it to stall.
Yes. And again, hit your end button. I need to see that timer.
Yeah.
There we go. So we're kind of still early on the candles, like I was just talking about. Even though it's slowing down, we're still early in the timer. So and so it's your call though. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go. That's a coulda, shoulda thought.
No, don't tell me it's my call. You tell me when to close out. Don't make
Is this where I remind you guys that trading contains inherent risk? And
oh, thank you.
Yes.
There it is. All right. What am I doing here?
Well, we were going to hold because I figured if it came up and tested, I knew we were going to get that break. So,
okay. So hold on to them for now.
Yeah. But if this body closes below, then then definitely get out, because if that body of this candle closes below, so I don't know if it will, we're still early in that candle, but if it does, then we want to get out. In fact, what I would do here is if it pops up just a little bit, I'd peel off your buys that are not good. So flip your profit position into your word over here into your losses. So click on the word profit. Yeah. And then let's do it one more time, or scroll up to the top and have your worst loss at the top, not your profit, but right there. So we'll see what this candle does. Okay. So
I heard your call, so I closed at profit.
good. All right. So now we can't, because that candle did close lower. And that sucks because it was basically, it was a false break. So it broke. And I mentioned that a few times, where if it breaks and then the immediate candle says, nope, you're not breaking, that's a false break. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
And so generally the rule of thumb is if it's a breakout, then it's a fake out, you get out. Does that make sense? So if it does pop up, so let's go ahead and take your profit before we give all your profit away. So go ahead and peel off the ones that are profitable right now, and we'll recycle those trades. So there's a $5 win. Okay, yeah. Go ahead and peel off your profit as it gets into profit. And we'll get back to kind of a reset if we can. And then if it does, let's just go ahead and take everything and just restart. Because you already took a $5 profit. Oh, if it pops up and goes green, then do it.
If it pops up and goes green.
Yep. Because you took a $5 profit. So what I'm trying to do is get you into like a $5 loss.
Gotcha.
There you go. Go ahead and take it. And now let's just kind of reset to zero. Sometimes this is just good to just get our trades in a better position.
Okay.
All right. So resetting to zero. Again, if it comes up here, it's probably going to break, and it wants to. We know the market wants to, but if it comes down here, we're going to buy, especially if it's early in the candle. So if this candle comes down into here, we'll throw a few buys on. If it wicks down like it's doing. So go ahead and buy right there. And then if it goes down even more, we'll buy again. Guys, and I want to say that I took those trades off purely for psychological reasons. Just because we've been nursing them for a while, and I'd rather just reset, get that reset. And so sometimes it's really good to do that, just to kind of peel them off, put them in a better position. Like I'd rather have, instead of having buys here, I'd rather have buys here, right? And so kind of just peeling them off and putting them back on. All right, so it's coming up, testing. I wanted to get into more than just one, but it's okay.
There wasn't an opportunity.
It was an opportunity, yeah. So that's why I was hoping for it to come down. Ooh, just on my wick. All right, so again, the same thing here. is your action point is here, and you could have got out there and recycled that, but now go ahead and throw another one on. Same thing. If it comes up, recycle these. But again, now we're looking at this is our test point, right? So this is now our test point, and it's got to cross this. You could wobble this too if you're really, really quick, and I probably would be, meaning that you could have sold here, buy here, sell here, buy here, but only for a couple times, because if it keeps touching the same point, it's going to break out, right? So I wouldn't do that multiple times unless it stalls right here and we're starting to get lower highs. Then we can definitely take shorts, longs, all that kind of stuff.
So, it's still early.
I like it, Pete. Thanks for the kind words.
So what's your bias right now, David?
I like trading.
That's one.
My bias still hasn't changed that we're going to get a retracement off of that big candle.
Okay.
So I just don't have a crystal ball and say it's going to happen in the next hour. Right. And so that's why I've been more getting into looking for buy opportunities during the session than I have looking for sell opportunities. Right. Because I tend to, when I'm trading with you guys, I tend to not take both sides. I only go one direction, but I definitely do that in my own trading session because it's more of a reaction than and you guys aren't really there yet where you're trading without thinking. Does that make sense? So
I trade without thinking all the time.
Well, no, there's a difference between, Dave, just tell me what buttons to push. I don't want to think about it.
Please, the dog trainer, explain that to us, because that's.
Hey, Dave, would this be more like an upward wedge forming here?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was drawing that right there.
It's a what?
So you're kind of into like a wedge right here. So
kind of like we had yesterday to the down.
Yeah. So, but you got a lot of wick pressure coming towards the top. So it's doing this so that it can give itself confidence for a break. And I think it's going to break to the top, right? So we'll go ahead and put a few more buys on when it wicks down. So let's get into a buy position. And it's about, see how the candles are just shrinking coming into this. And then as soon as it's ready, it kind of winds up and we're going to.
So a buy right there.
Yeah, go ahead. Either way, if it comes down just a little bit, go ahead and put another one on. Either way. So if it does wind up and go down, we're not heavy. So we can fix it. We can fix it if it does pop to the downside. We got a lot of buying pressure coming in. So I'm thinking it's going to pop to the upside, but we don't want to be so heavy that we're like, now we just gave back everything we just earned. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This could be our pop if it goes up here.
If it break that barrier.
A good call, Sky. And that's what I'm hoping that you guys start getting to. So I've heard a lot of people, okay, if it breaks this, we're going to get out of our buys because it's going to come back down and retest. It's a false break. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
it comes back down.
Yeah. I don't think it will, just because why did it go through all that work just for a false break? That's a lot of work, but unless there's a lot of money coming in saying, nope, you're not going to go higher. Down, boy, down. That's it. We need to get some of your dog training comments in here, Andrew.
Yeah,
right?
All right, go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, go ahead and get out, but then it just did that. I hate when it does that, when you're like, okay, nope.
Nope. Right. Well,
so that's me always having my mouse over my decision, right? Yeah. So always having your mouse in the right place when action is really quick is key too, right? So you don't have to be like, Oh crap! I gotta move my mouse all the way across my 32-inch screen, and it takes me it takes me forever.
Yeah.
All right. We may
want
to pill if it pops up and gives you a green. Let's go ahead and pill, and then we'll reset these trades. Might as well take the profit that is given us. So go ahead and pill. And then let's clear your chart really quick again. And then let's just wait for a better opportunity to get in. So we missed out. Dang it. We could have, got out on the stall right there, and we should have done that. So again, this was our stall point. This was our action point. We should have got out. Anybody get out on those right there? Because that's something that you guys at this point in time, you should be looking for without me telling you.
Yeah,
action
I did.
point.
I took one of them took a loss on a bad entry.
Okay. Churchill, did you take that?
Yeah, I took that, but then I put 3 more buys. So
oh yeah, don't do that. So that's kind of breaking the cardinal rule, which is don't ever place a buy on the same direction at the end of a price cycle. And so this is an action point where you get that stalled. You don't want to buy. If anything, you want to sell right there, right?
Right. I agree.
So I'm not saying but thanks for offering that information so that I can teach you the right way to do it. Does that make sense?
Right.
All right. So if it crosses here, we'll throw a buy on with a body. Nick, he doesn't need a support group. Nick says I broke that rule too. Hi, I'm Nick, and I place trades at the top of a price cycle. Hi, Nick. We should start handing out chips for how many days you go without breaking that rule. Oh, you didn't get in. It said, what did I say, Andrew?
If it broke the body.
I was listening to you, not
it's all good.
All right. It's two screens. I took my off it for a second to read the comments, and then
yes, now that's why I don't trade my own account when other people are watching or I'm teaching, because I'm always trying to teach and trade. It's hard.
I thought your trading class was Saturday.
What's that?
I thought your trading class was Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, we should have got in.
Oh,
I knew that pop was happening.
All right,
go ahead and get in.
Get
right now. Bye. Yep. You gotta be a quicker. Proper execution means pippage gain. So anybody want to explain to me why I'm having him get in at the top of a price cycle here?
Because you're anticipating it going up, and you're
okay. That's the easy answer.
something rather than nothing.
Hopefully.
What's the rule? I just told you guys.
Tested this is the third test, or maybe even more.
Also,
right.
Also, can you hit your end button again? I need to see the timer. This is the only exception to that rule, Nick, and this doesn't mean that you get justification of breaking that rule. This is the only exception, that when it pops up and you're sitting on that. I knew that this pop-up was going to happen. Now, I don't know, obviously, you don't know how far, how long, but we're looking for a stall to get out. And I'm glad you got in with 2. Yeah, personally, I would have smacked. Personally, this is a high probability trade for me, so I would have smacked that buy button as many times as I could. But you don't know that.
Right.
Because for me, that's a high probability trade setup.
That's why I have Protégé with 2 or 3 trades.
Yeah, so you did that. Boom. So again, here's our stall, right? So look, you're on the north side of the candle. You wait now, because it is a breakout. I was just going to say we could trade this a little differently than the stall. All right, if you get a blue wick, go ahead and buy again. Or a blue, if the candle turns blue, go ahead and buy again. But I was going to have you ride this all the way up.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Because I knew I was going to do this. So I was like, we're going to play this one. Guess we're not. All right. So those of you guys who are still in buys, what we're looking for on a breakout, when you get a major breakout, when it breaks to an outside range like this, then you turn it into a breakout strategy, not a stall technique. Okay. So what we're looking for, Patricio, Cool, Dad, are you guys in buys right now?
I got out.
I got out.
I got out.
I got out.
We're all missing.
No, anybody in buys right now? Anybody?
We were waiting for the stall.
Right. That's why I say, okay, let's still get out.
Yeah, like that's a bunch of cowards.
I need the courage.
Is there anybody in buys right now holding? I
I'm in
held on
buys.
through this. Anybody? So because
I'm in
there's no
buys.
point for me to. Oh, you are. Cliff is.
Wait, I'm supposed to get a buy right now?
No, that are holding their buys from down here. That are playing. This is a technique that I turn into whenever it's an outside range. Whenever it's an outside range and it's a major breakout and you have no idea where the next data is, this is what happens. This is what I'm expecting. This is our 50. This is the move that I was expecting to happen, the retracement on this candle. So why would I get out if I expected this move to happen, right? So here's how you play it. You wait until the next candle, this candle, closes below the previous candle. That's when you get out.
Okay.
So that's when we're going to get out, right?
So to be fair, I got out and got back in, got back in, I got some pips, and then so I should wait and do what you say.
Okay, if we're going to do a recap on today's session, that's the quote of the day. Wait until we do what you say.
Do
That's
what
a kick out for today.
Quote of the day. All right, Cliff, are you still waiting?
Yeah.
All right, so those of you who are not waiting, these candles are pretty big, right? So you got 2 pips easy per candle. However, what we don't know is when it's going to turn, and you're starting to see pressure coming in on those wicks. So this is not an opportunity for us to counter trend until we get that break. But once we get that break, once this breaks the body of this candle, that's when you get out of your buys that you should have held on to. And if you would have, now this is the only time I can say should have, could have, because you didn't listen to me, right?
I did listen. I got out on a stall.
All right. Two points. But if you would have said, I was just in the mid sentence, we're going to trade this one different. And then guess we're not, right? You would have been able to go from, measure this real fast. What's the difference from where you got out to where it's at right now? How many more pips is that? So right now is probably where I would get out. So go measure from the bot from that blue. So definitely get out. So Cliff, if you didn't get out, I'd get out. Measure from that blue, from this purple line to where you got out. I'm just curious. Okay, so that would have yielded you another 10 pips. So that would have yielded you another $20 in your account. All right. I always get out there. And did anybody get back in on the blue? Just curious.
No.
Okay.
I got out.
So if it moves further away, so Cliff, if you did not get out,
I got out.
This is another thing that I do. If it moves far enough away, like right now where I'm 10 pips away, this is another technique that I do. And this is what you can start amassing some major profits is I'll put my stop loss right here. And then I'll start getting in and building into a heavy position. And in fact, this is what I was trying to teach you guys the other day.
Short or
No, I'll start playing the fib level right here. So this is what I wanted to teach you guys. This is where I've been like just smacking the crap out of the market lately. Unfortunately, we're not able to execute because we missed the opportunity. But whenever we're playing and we get this big break of an outside range, what tends to happen as traders is we just sit on and we're saying, okay, we put trades here, and now we just sit and watch. Right? And we just sit back and watch our trades just grow and grow and grow. But what we don't do is we don't take advantage of this, meaning that if this body closes and we're like, okay, we're in a run and we're in 2 trades here, we should get into 4 trades. And I'll go ahead and change my lot sizes to be like double lot, so I can get in heavy and then get out on the next stall. So these trades I'm riding, these trades I'm playing the stall, but I'm heavy. So what's happening is I'm really heavy here. I'm heavy to the point where if it comes back and hits this, I'm at 0 profit. Does that make sense? I'm not necessarily at a loss, but I'm at a 0. I'm at a break even situation. But if it continues to go up, then I double my profits in a short amount of move. And then I do it again, triple my profits, quadruple my profits. The same, it's basically taking the same, okay, why do we, as traders, this is a really good education point. If we were on the wrong side of this, let's just say that you sold here, okay? Let's just say you got into a sell. Well, guess what we would do? We would sell here, we would sell here, we'd sell there.
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Because we're expecting it to pull back.
Because we're expecting it to pull back and save ourselves. But we never do that if we're into buys here. What happens is, we just sit and watch. And that dawned on me just like last week. Why do we sit and watch our profits? Because we're like, yay, it's going up. But we don't with our losses. We get in heavier with our losses. Yeah. So why don't we get in heavier with our wins?
Good question.
Well, the answer is because we're afraid that we don't want to give up what we've already got.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what we're told. So I've been stacking heavy. So right here on this, I might have gotten in like 4 to 6 lots. And I'm saying all in. Like I would quickly change that to like 0.5. And if I have 2 trades that are 0.10, I'd have 2 trades that are 0.20 and then keep doubling down all the way up. But the heavier I get in these layers, I look for the stall and I cut out of these layers quickly. Right. So the first thing I'm doing, if I'm in, I'm still playing this retracement up here on this layer. So I'm looking for the first pullback on this layer. But on these layers that I get in heavy on, I wait for the stall like right here. Does that make sense? And if I didn't get a stall here, I'd double in and double in. Unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity to do that. And it's more of a level 3 technique and it's more of a reaction because this move happens so fast that I'm constantly going do, and I can't tell you to do that. I can show you guys to do that, but I can't tell you to do that. Right.
So you're saying here that as it's running up, you would add more. Basically, that's what you're.
I would add to my position as long as that position wasn't so heavy that if it came back just a little bit, like if I was only in like 0.20 and then you got in like 5 lots, well, that's going to destroy this trade. Does that make sense? So you never get in heavier to where this trade, you only get into where if it comes back down, it is 0. It's going to zero out that, like you're going to just break even. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So the risk is break even or make a lot.
But how do you place quick stop losses when you're doing that?
I don't do stop losses at all. I don't even worry about stop losses.
Well,
I never worry about stop losses.
I thought I heard the same thing, Patricio. Do you put your
got you. That was
another
never technique that I was talking about that you could do. That's what I was saying. Cliff, on a 5-minute, if you wanted to see this run and you thought you're going to get 100% retracement on that, you could put a stop loss here and let it continue to go. And if it crosses, then you just hit your take profit.
A trailing stop loss, right, Dave? So
no, I don't do trailing stops. I would just be like, this would be a secured trade. This would be getting into a secured trade where if it does break that, then you're out. You're going to get out anyways. So now you would just take all the profit from this point to that point, right? But on the off chance that it continues and just doesn't break that and goes all the way up and gives you 100% retracement, you could walk away from that trade. Does that make sense? Knowing that that's a secured trade. That's what I look for at nighttime. Like I don't like leaving overnight trades on unless I'm in a secured trade. Like 2 nights ago, I was in a secured trade for at least 10 pips. So I put a secured trade 10 pips away from my target, and it ran up, and I ended up getting 60 pips when I woke up the next morning. But so my risk was 10 pips of profit or 60 pips, or wherever it was when I woke up. And it could be 12 pips or it could be 100, right? But at the end of the day, if it came back and hit that, I knew I was up at least 10 pips. And so I'll try to build into secured trades. And that's a whole other technique. That's a whole other thing that I was talking about, right? And so I'm glad you brought that up, because that I didn't want to have a confusion point there. So, but you could do that if you just wanted to see if you're going to enjoy the ride, basically. The other thing that is completely separate technique that you could do is, because you move far enough away, you could play, I'm not going to get out of this trade until the 5-minute closes lower on a body, right? Not the 1 minute, but the 5-minute closes lower on the body, because it's a lot harder for that 5-minute to retrace lower than it is for the 1 minute. And so you could have still held on to your buys thinking it's going to get consolidation and it could climb higher. So there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but all of those ways equal maximizing your profit as opposed to cutting your winners short. And I guarantee, well, okay, not guarantee, absolutely hands down, everybody on this call cut your winners short except for Cliff. So Cliff was the big winner today. And it was probably because he was doing something else, wasn't it, Cliff? You didn't do it on purpose. He was probably looking at something else. Oh, hey, it ran up.
No, I was already down, so I wanted to get enough hits. Because I'm down 100 and something. So,
all right. So, had we have maximized our profit opportunity, you definitely would have been at the $100 mark, because we realized there would have been at least 20 to more dollars that we left on the table because we didn't do that, right? However, and that's kind of our goal, is the $100 mark. So I'm kind of resetting for everybody. Even though we're at a $10,000 balance, we're really trading with $5,000 in our mind. So that's why our buying and selling, because the other $5,000 is basically funny money. And it's very important that you don't trade with $10,000 lot sizes, $10,000 position sizes, until you turn that $5,000 into real money. Okay. Because we're not banks. We can't just write tickets, or, you know, if you guys know money, but basically we're not fractionalizing our money or anything like that. We can't have like a certain amount of hard cash in there and then write checks against it. So that's not how this works. All right. So I feel like it was a good trading day. Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, from the
best I've done this week. So
I don't know, cool, if you want to, but
I made 220 from the 220 from the news.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Cool.
So we're at $70 in your account, Andrew, which is a good trading day, considering your total for the week is 113. So we basically doubled what you've done all week. Our goal is $100 a day equals 2% on your 5K account. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And we'll probably look at maybe doing like you said, getting into a smaller position and trading yours smaller, and growing that. I'd actually really would enjoy the challenge. I've never done it before, but I'd enjoy the challenge of maybe taking, $10, $50, whatever that looks like, and seeing if we can't grow that. But if we do, we're going to have to look for opportunities like this to double down, right? Because even on a $10 account, I would have risked, I know this is stupid to do, but on a $10 account, I would have risked 100% of that on this run, right? And that's stupid to say because you never want to risk 100% of your account. And so your risk levels are completely different when you're trading with $10 and 5,000. So, but I look for an opportunity to get in and then on this pop, right? Make $20 would be awesome. Double your account at a $10 account would be awesome. All right. Takeaways. Andrew, we traded with you. Let's go into some takeaways.
No, don't be so trigger happy, I guess, when closing out on those big breakaways. Sometimes it's okay to let the profits run, and to listen to the Jedi Master.
No, not listen. Do.
Right.
See or do not. There is no try, right?
There is no try.
Do we have, I'm just curious. Thank you for that. But I think one of the bigger takeaways that I would like you to learn. So we talked on both sides of the coin, meaning that I talked out of both sides of my mouth. And so I understand why it was really confusing to you as a new trader, because I talked out both sides of my mouth. And sometimes as traders, we do that a lot. We can say two different things meaning the same thing, or we can say two different things that mean completely opposite, right? Because there's always an opportunity for everything. And there's always an exception to every rule. Just like we witnessed today. Do you mind if I drive?
Yeah.
So as we witnessed today, I kept telling you all through this area, everything through this area, I kept saying, get out on the stall, get out on the stall. Why didn't you get out on the stall? Oh, look, it's stalled. Oh, look, we should have got out there, right? And I kept pounding that into you. And then we flipped and we started talking about, and then you finally said, okay, and then you finally got it, right? And you said, okay, I'm getting out. And then we flipped to where Patricio said, I got into buys here. I'm like, Patricio, you got into buys at the top of a price cycle. Don't do that. Right. And we said, don't get into buys at the top of a price cycle. Don't get into buys at the top of a price cycle. And then what did I do? I bought at the top of a price cycle. Right. And so there was a lot of different
conflicting information
that was coming in. And as a new trader, it's really difficult to understand. So that's why I think this recap session is very valuable. Right. Because I kept pounding that. Don't buy at the top of a price cycle. Don't buy at the top of the price cycle. Hold on, everybody. Watch me buy at the top of a price cycle. Right? And that happened. But I need you, particularly Andrew, to understand why I was speaking out both sides of my mouth. Right? And so if you could kind of explain to me what the big differences were here, just on the buying at the top of a price cycle. I think that would be really good education for you. So if you don't know, say you don't know, because that's perfectly fine too. And I'll just
I'll give it a go. Okay. So, I mean, it's different. It's probably different trading patterns, right?
Mm-hmm. Can I just pause you really quick? This would be another example of buying at the end of, or selling at the end of a price cycle. And we're right at the other example of that, because we got kind of this closed above this at the end of price cycle. So if anybody's still trading, you could sell down to this, right? Unless the body crosses that. But anyway, so just as another example, basically. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So different. It's a different trading pattern. It's kind of what I'm seeing. Like in, I don't know. Like, how do I draw on this?
Zoom annotations. So go to view. So view options and annotate.
I'm not great with Zoom. I don't know where that is.
you every day you can practice.
Annotate.
So you got it.
Draw.
Yeah.
Just draw.
Yeah, you got to click on the draw, then you got to click on the squiggly line right below it. So it's kind of opens the drop down menu. Okay, so that cell that I talked about went away once if it crosses that body. I was thinking it was going to kind of test the lows right here.
All right. So yeah, different trading patterns is kind of what I'm seeing. Like in here, I don't know. Would you call this kind of like a consolidation?
Absolutely, that is a great observation. That is absolutely a consolidation.
So we trade differently through a consolidation, and this was a breakout, and so we don't want to. So we want to. We probably should have gotten to buys down here.
Right. The other thing, let me pause real quick, because the other thing I think is very important for me to point out is that although this was a consolidation, inside of this consolidation, there was something we also called out, and Sky called it out. If Sky's still with us, do you remember what that is? What that would look like? If he's not, that's fine. So we were also in a wedge in consolidation, meaning that it was consolidating down to a small point, and we knew that the wick pressure coming in, you see all that wick pressure? Yeah. That has a great indication of a direction when it breaks to the upside. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was going to get to as well, was that obviously in the market a lot better than I do, know and trading a lot better than I do. I mean, you called it earlier that there was going to be this breakout. So we wanted to trade at the top of here at the end of this candle, so that we could at least capitalize on the way up and not miss any opportunity. Right. Would that be right? Uh-huh. Okay. Absolutely. So, but there's one little detail that's very important. I mean, you got 90% of it, but this is the last 10%. The reason why we traded on a buy at the end of this price cycle right here, because you could say that this was a price cycle down, this was a price cycle back up, because it broke above that. And it broke above this. Now, and it basically, here was our test right here. And this was the second test, right? And so on the second test, it's more likely to follow through, especially when you get a bigger candle, which we did, that kind of popped up. What happened, the action of that candle wasn't just here's the line. The action of the candle wasn't just like this and then flickering. The action of that candle was like this and then flickered and then held right here with the body. Does that make sense? And so it was a larger candle break. And so that's when I got you into buys on the pullback of that break. That makes sense? So that's the one thing I love about price action. That's the one thing I love trading. The wobble technique is because every single candle tells a story. Every single candle tells a story. And as you're able to read what the story is, you can trade better, and you can change the ending of the story can change in a minute. And if you can see, then you can get out of your trades that you shouldn't have been in because the market just shifted. You can see the market shifts, as opposed to if we were in sells here, which we wouldn't have been. Typical trading is, oh crap, we're in sells, so I'm only looking now for sell opportunities. But when you learn price action, this happens. You would have closed out of your sells and immediately jumped into buys and been like, that was the right move. But oftentimes as traders, we're selling here because it's at the top of a price cycle. We're thinking it could bounce back. We sell, and it gets that breakout against us, and we hold on to those sells. And that's the biggest problem with traders, is they hold on to their losses and they cut their winners. And so I'm on a personal journey on how to fix that for people. Like, what can we do that can help us to cut our losses and hold are winners. Because I'm pretty sure every single person on this call right now would agree that that's been their problem, is that they've cut their losses too short and they cut their winners too short and their losers run, right?
Hang on.
Oh, what was that?
I said we have a tendency to hang on to them.
Oh, I thought you said amen.
That too.
Amen, brother. Can I get an amen? All right. Guys, I appreciate it. Everybody that has done so cool, and Jimmy, and hopefully Andrew have had an opportunity to trade this week, and Patricio have had the opportunity to trade this week, and they've all done kind of like a video recap. Guys, if you have an aha moment or you want to do a recap, it is so powerful in your trading, to jump on a Zoom call, record yourself saying, this is what I learned. This is my aha moment. This is what the market gave me today. Do a recap, do a trading market recap, go through, look and see, I missed out on this opportunity, or I traded this bad. I should have done this. Every single session, do a recap. And if you guys do that recap, send it to me. I want to see them. I really want to see them. And I want to post them so we can start making a library, because what you see might be completely different than what everybody else sees. And they'll be like, oh, that's a great point. I honestly, guys, I'm trying to build this Discord community for you guys, but my challenge is, let's instead of me helping you, let's get to the point where you can help each other. Right. And yeah, I love it. Preach on, right? So by helping each other means that send me that recording. I'm going to watch your recap session. Just put a recap session. I'm going to watch that. And if I see that you're spot on, or I'll see that, you know what, hey, you missed a point, I'll provide that feedback. I'll recap your recap. But if it's solid, I'm going to post it to Discord and let other people say, hey, this is a great recap session. So please, guys, it doesn't have to be fancy. Just jump on Zoom, press the record button, find the annotations saying, you know what, this is where we went. This is where we went. Draw on your charts, talk about it, what you did, how you did. It will make you a better trader. I'm confident it will make you a better trader when you recap every single session. So that's your challenge to everybody on this group, is to send me a recap session. I would love it. I would love it if you guys did. It's totally different than sending me a trading session. So, can
you just cut my little recap out at the end of this one for me?
Yeah. No, you can't use my lens, but I did give you some really great ammunition for sure, or great talking points.